welcome back to the Nikki Clarke Show. How are you doing? That's great. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been an incredible evening, and I am really inspired by the great stories that are being unfolded today here at Artistic Decor Venue, and really appreciate sharing the space with you. So I have a very amazing individual, very talented man. He is an author, a philanthropist. He's a historian, and an artist. Very talented on the percussion. He's a singer. He's an actor. Does it all. And he's very humble. And I'm so happy that he's here and he said yes to share a little bit. So please put your hands together for the amazing Mello Ayo. Awesome. Thank you so much for being here.
You're too kind. You're too kind. Can I take the time out, though, to recognize you for the work you've been doing, for showcasing and giving people a platform to tell their stories and to showcase their gifts, their talents. So kudos to you as well.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you. I'm really glad that we can talk a little bit about a passion that we both share, which is Black history.
Sure.
You know, I've done quite a bit of work in the community with Black Canadian history, and we got into a talk about some of the parts of that, and you shared that you have a book that you released called I Am Brother Ogi.
That's correct.
So tell me about your journey, you know, as an author, and then how were you inspired to write this book?
Sure. In my more facetious moments, I like to ask people, have you ever heard of Bugs Bunny?
Yeah. What's up, Doc?
Yeah. Most people have. Have you ever heard of Tarzan?
Mm-hmm.
Most people have. But I go, have you ever heard of Matthew DaCosta? And usually.
Have you heard of him?
No. There's less familiarity.
Some heads shaking. No?
Yeah.
They're like, no.
Have you heard of Josiah Henson? Some people have, but not quite as many.
Not quite as many.
And I always find it fascinating that Tarzan and Bugs Bunny could occupy so much of our consciousness, and these other individuals have such a small space in our consciousness.
Yes.
And that to me is a significant gap in our understanding of our history and who we are. And so I usually ask my next question, have you ever heard of Brother Ogi? People go, Brother Ogi? Who is Brother Ogi? And I'm thinking, if you know about Tarzan and you know about Bugs Bunny and you don't know about Brother Ogi, there's a significant gap in your understanding of Canadian history. So I thought it was important to bring the life of this individual to the forefront in the form of a biography called I Am Brother Ogi. And people may be wondering, why is his life so significant? So I usually ask the next question. Have you ever heard of the Royal Ontario Museum? Most people would have. Yeah. And I would say, have you heard of the exhibit in 1989-1990 called Into the Heart of Africa? People go, not really.
No.
And I'm thinking, this episode in the history of this city, Toronto, province, Canada, nation, province, Ontario, nation, Canada. Yes. This particular episode is such a significant game changer that all of us should have an acute understanding of it. And so Brother Ogi was an individual that participated in the protest back in 1990 against this particular exhibit called Into the Heart of Africa. The Royal Ontario Museum, which is a preeminent institution of learning in North America, decided that they were going to go into their basement and bring upstairs all the artifacts and relics that had been gathered over the years during the colonial era that were brought back by missionaries and soldiers from Africa and gifted to the realm. And they were going to showcase this in an exhibit, a preeminent exhibit called Into the Heart of Africa. As it turned out, this exhibit turned out to be a monumental failure.
Oh my.
in the sense that the way the images were framed, it was framed in such a way that it was an insult to Africa and to African people. The depiction of Africa as backward, uncivilized, and was clearly the story
Yeah.
narrative. Anyway, the black community here in the city took umbrage to it, but most people complained and did nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a group of young activists who thought they were going to be proactive and decided to take a stand. And so they staged a protest that went on for weeks at the ROM, insisting that the ROM either modified the exhibit
Right.
or they take it down completely.
Mm-hmm.
The negotiation didn't go very well.
Mm.
And as a matter of fact, the protest escalated. Police were involved.
Wow.
There was a melee, and people were arrested and charged. Now, Brother Ogi is the only individual who was charged, convicted, and sentenced for his participation in this particular incident. So this book really is about him. But why is this important? Why should it be important? It should be important because today you and I, and most people here in this room, can talk about diversity,
Mm-hmm.
can talk about inclusion and equity, can talk about anti-racism, and you don't get arrested for it. But here back in 1990,
Only
or a group,
1990.
yes, which is recent history, a group of people were arrested simply for insisting on the right to dignity and respect for being people of African ancestry. So I thought the story was worthwhile telling. And I think
Absolutely.
all of us should take the opportunity to honor and respect the contribution of not only this individual, but others who were involved in this protest
Mm-hmm.
to change the paradigm.
Yes.
So a number of different things happened as a result of this, one of which is uh, museums around the world right now are on a binge to decolonize.
Okay. Okay.
It's an interesting concept.
It's an interesting concept.
Decolonize, right? Because when you think of it, the Royal Ontario Museum represented the colonial ethos.
Mm-hmm.
The
Mm-hmm.
royal is connected to the queendom, the kingdom, and the whole colonial apparatus.
Right.
That was their perspective.
Yes.
Now they're trying to decolonize.
Mm.
When did this process start? Right here in the city, at the hands of a bunch of young activists who decided that they were not going to sit aside and take this. So Brother Ogi is one of the key protagonists in the story, and I think he exemplifies the best of who we could be as young people. We have some young people today who seem to be lost. They're wandering. They don't seem to have any purpose, and they're engaged in activities that are self-defeating and self-harming.
Yes.
Whereas you had young people who have exemplified for us what it means to live a life of purpose, a life in which they are dedicated to self-determination, pride, dignity, and self-worth.
Mm.
And that's why I thought the story was worthwhile telling.
I think that's
In a
beautiful.
nutshell.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that incredible summary. Where can people find the book?
So Brother Ogi himself subscribed to the Marcus Garvey philosophy of self-determination,
Mm-hmm.
autonomy. And I decided that I was going to produce this book, self-publish this book.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So instead of going to a Main Street publisher
Yes.
to be the custodian of this work, I felt it was important to own it.
I agree. Mm-hmm.
So it's out of pocket, so it's self-published. So if you need a copy of this book, you need to talk to me. But,
Or me.
But you can easily go online. It's available online. It's quite expensive online, unfortunately, but if you would like to have a copy, I'd be happy to make one available to you at a very accessible price. There's also an e-copy version, which is, of course, easier and less expensive.
Mm-hmm.
That's also available online.
Awesome. Well, this is my copy that's signed.
Yes.
And I also bought one for my father, who is a Garveyite. So this really resonates with him.
No, thank you so much.
Thank you. there's something also that I would love if you could share. Um, Tell us where we can go and see your artwork, your great display of artistry. You sing, and you also you're a spoken word artist. And there's one poem that I really love about your dedication to your mom.
Um,
Can you
so,
share that with us?
yeah, I can. This is difficult because I try not to pigeonhole myself.
Yeah,
I'm a didactic, eclectic, intuitive artist, so I don't really um, put myself in a pigeonhole.
sure.
I do a variety of things for a variety of reasons in a
Yeah,
variety of
absolutely.
ways. But poetry, yes, and spoken word
Hmm.
is something that I love to do. And
Yes.
this particular poem was written in dedication to my deceased mother. I can share that with you. But if you are interested in seeing my work, you can go to YouTube, Mello Ayo. There's a YouTube channel there, on Instagram as well, under the same name. There's a Facebook profile, and my website is meloayo.com if you're interested. So Farewell Mama simply goes like this. Uh, Farewell Mama, I'm gone abroad, but not for long. So go long, go home, but keep the pot boiling on the veranda light on, for me soon come back. For foreign can't hold me and I am a bond. Farewell Mama, the plane high, but we can still see her waving. Lord Mama, the plane high, we see her waving. Tear them a well up in your yard, drops them big like rain from the sky. Farewell Mama. Long time did I see you. I miss you bad. I feel lonely, twist up and sad. Sorry I can't come. We don't have no money in the cupboard at beer, but come pay date, we'll send you some money. Godspeed and take care. Man, farewell, mama. Be you sick. Stay there. Not gonna wait. I don't know what to do. If you're dead and gone before me come down, dead. You pack the bag, book a flight tonight. Stay there. Not gonna wait. Farewell, mama. Run after the dawn and tell me say you're gone. You left during the night without even a fight. It's almost like we didn't know. All the night, the moon was aglow, and we run to and fro. Like a chicken with the head cut off, like a rolling calf. Farewell, mama. A few time now to take a trip. You never did go nowhere when you did alive. So go along, go on. Sip the milk and honey. Eat the bread of life. Shake hand with the elders and tell Jesus howdy. Farewell, mama. Farewell. Go along, go on. But keep the pot boiling and the veranda light on. So it's soon come. It's soon come. It's soon come. It's soon come.
That's beautiful. I love that. Thank you so much
No, thank
for
you.
blessing us.
Thank you for allowing me to share that.
Absolutely. Thank you.
It's always moving when I
It
say it.
is really
Thank
moving.
you.
Yeah. Your mom was a very special woman.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Mello Ayo, everyone. Please reach out to him on social media and get a copy of his book, I Am Brother Ogi. You're going to love it. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Delighted.
We'll be back.